Social media and consumption is a great way to miss out on living life. That's a hard lesson I learned in the past couple weeks at least. Now listen, being anti-social media isn't a new concept by any means. I mean, your grandma was probably talking shit about social media before she got clapped by God or something, you know? RIP grandma. But that doesn't make it any less of an interesting topic to discuss. Now, for this video, we're gonna ignore that social media has a negative impact on mental health because, frankly, everybody knows that by now. If I have to hear someone regurgitate the same 4 points about social media in a video like this, I'm gonna throw hands. Social media and consumption is a fantastic way to miss out on living life. Why is that? I think it's because it keeps you comfortable. How many days a week do you come home from work or school or whatever just to come home and relax by watching social media, watching television, consuming content, anything like that? I'd be willing to bet for a lot of you, it's probably 5 days a week at least. I mean, for me, it was 7 days a week. It was bad. Now, thankfully, I never got into TikTok or any of the short form content out there because if I did, I probably would never leave my house and I'd also fall down a rabbit hole of Taylor Swift being like a Chinese sleeper agent or something. But according to society standards, staying home, watching television, consuming content isn't necessarily a bad way to spend a night. I mean, there are much worse vices out there. You could be gambling, doing drugs, fighting homeless people. So it's very much so just an acceptable thing to spend an entire night doing that. But one weekend I was up late watching Kitchen Nightmares, watching Gordon Ramsay yell at people, and I heard the clock in my living room go off, the one that goes off every hour. And my first thought was, oh my god, it's 12 a.m. I just spent the entire night watching Gordon Ramsay yell at people. And I looked at the clock, yeah, it was 3 a.m. As you could probably imagine, the horror and disgust and everything all at once just took over my body. Like I said already, consumption keeps you comfortable. It never— oh my god, there's a spider on my ring light. Holy fuck, that is gigantic. Please hold, I gotta get my gun. Oh, you're gone, bucko. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, like I said, consumption keeps you comfortable. You never really seek out new hobbies, time absolutely whizzes by, and you don't really seek stimulation in any other way. And it's easy to never want to seek out other stimulation because your brain gets all the possible dopamine and stimulation that it could ever want from social media or consumption. And there's some people that might just be perfectly okay with that. But I started looking at the people around me and the picture kind of became clear in my head. If all you're doing is consuming content, are you really living? Or are you living a life distracted from living life? And in order to answer that question for myself, I ran an experiment. Now for the last 2 weeks, I cut social media and most of my consumption out of my life just to try it out. I would say I probably cut out 85 to 95% of it. It became very obvious very quickly that I'm very addicted to consumption, and that's just because that's all I've known my entire life. So it was very difficult for me to cut it out 100% of the time. I'm very slowly getting better at it, but I think I only cut it out 100% maybe 2 or 3 days out of the 14. Even with the amount I quit though, I felt an impact on day 1. Voice crack. It was that powerful, baby. Now, I'm usually skeptical when it comes to videos like this because people tend to over-exaggerate the results they're experiencing. They're like, oh my god, I took a cold shower once, it solved everything. It solved world hunger, cancer, fuck that shit, it's gone. And then they try to sell you a course on how to live or something, I don't know. But I'm being genuinely honest when I actually literally felt an impact on day 1. It was almost like magic to me. Even just in the early afternoon, I felt an improvement in my mood, my general quality of life, and my well-being. And if I were to break it down further for you just across the entire week or 2 weeks and my results, I would say social interactions that I have on a daily basis had some more life to them almost. Even with my close friends that I see like 3 or 4 times a week, those interactions felt way more enjoyable. The number one most noticeable thing for me though was that hobbies and things that I previously wasn't excited about instantly became way more exciting for me and interesting. Drawing, reading, Sudoku puzzles, I even bake now. It was truly remarkable to see how quickly and drastic the change was because I wasn't expecting it. And I wanted to make sure that this wasn't a fluke, right? I wanted to make sure that I didn't just catch myself on a good 2 weeks or something like that. So to experiment, I introduced consumption back into my life just to see what would happen. This is gonna shock you. My mental health, well-being, mood, everything that took a 180 turn and went up the last 14 days, did a 180 turn and went right back down. It was honestly shocking. I was surprised that the results happened almost as quickly as they came on in the first place. The experiment really solidified how bad social media and consumption in general actually is for the human psyche. Fuck, my voice keeps cracking. People are gonna think I'm like a 13-year-old boy going through puberty. I'm a big believer that there was once a time when humans were at their absolute peak when it came to general knowledge and curiosity and just general well-being from a social standpoint. But I think we've really passed that peak as a species because with the introduction of consumption and social media, humans, at least in this day and age, don't really feel that anymore, I don't think. I imagine it's only going to get worse as the algorithms get more aggressive, more manipulative, and have even an AI base to them. To me, there's really 3 stages of things. Stage 1, you're absolutely completely in the consumption rabbit hole. You have no idea what the side effects or consequences are, and you have no interest to change. This is where I was for the majority of my life. This is probably where I would say 70% of people are in today's modern world. Stage 2, you're still stuck in the rabbit hole. You say you want to change and you're aware of the consequences that constant consumption brings, but you don't really want to change. I would always say that I wanted to change. You know, I would do everything from looking stuff up online, looking up Reddit posts, like how did you quit your social media stuff? Basically, self-help hell. But in reality, I didn't want to. And the self-help stuff and the posts and everything, that was just me procrastinating actually quitting, because if I looked up how to be a better human being, I was basically working towards it. So it was a way to make me feel better about myself being online. I imagine stage 2 is where most of you are watching this video, probably. And then we have stage 3, which is usually a bad thing, but stage 3 is a good thing in this video. This is the stage of change. This is where the difference is made and the results actually happen. It might seem like a really complex process, but in reality, the length it takes to go from stage to stage is up to you. The power is in your hands. For a very long time and a large part of my life, I never thought of my consumption as a problem, ever. Partly because it was so normalized in humanity, but also partly because my symptoms weren't obvious. I wasn't one of those guys that compared myself to others. I never really cared how many likes I got on a post or anything like that. None of that stuff. But it took me seeing what kind of life people live when they're not addicted to social media, not hypnotized by consumption. And that's what it took for me to understand that what I was doing was a problem. And once I started living without that stuff, even time itself started to go slower. It was amazing. So I really urge you to give it a shot. Try just going a week. And if you can't do a week, try going for a day without consumption. See if you can hit that 100% marker. And if you're addicted to the point where that's difficult, you should just cut out wherever you can. Say you listen to background music or content while you work. Try cutting that out. See how your workday improves and see how much more you'll be able to get done in a day. My productivity fucking skyrocketed when I cut that shit out. And please don't get discouraged if you can't do it, right? If you can't cut out 100%, don't get down on yourself or beat yourself up or anything like that, because I still can't cut out 100%, and it's been almost 3 weeks at this point. I'm working towards it, but I still haven't got there. This isn't something that's gonna happen overnight. Unraveling an addiction that's been present for years is a long process. But progress is what's important, not perfection. Anyway, I hope you guys give it a shot. Just try it out, see how your life changes. Thank you for watching, guys. I really hope you give it a shot. Good luck.